continuation and the overall trend continues to the downside, because this could just fucking dump off. Because this is the problem. Is like most normal traders, they see that and oh, like what you said. Oh, it's looking bullish. Is it? Or is it just a retrace? Oh, you got in. Nice. Good job. Is that an SMT I see there, bro? I see an SMT right there. Very nice. Yeah, I'm break even on this trade. See, look what happened. Look at that. You gotta get more precise. Look at that rejection. So fucking crack up, bro. Like that. It's like the most funny shit I've ever seen in my life. Where I was literally just talking about that, and I was like, yeah, that's why we go break even there. Because if that rejects and the overall trend is bullish, boom, we do not want to be in this trade. We're just getting it cooked. But there's always going to be some sort of reaction, but if it's very volatile, very aggressive, there's really buyers in here. Like, we don't want to get cooked. Because, this could just flush through here and then, great, awesome. Like, that's great. But it could also just go tap, boom, this bullish, because if we look at this just straight up, this is bullish structure, essentially, right? Yes, we have this displacement down here, cool, and then we've got a retest, and then we've got a rejection, that's fine, but like there is still bullish structure in play. It's fine to get in on those moves, it's fine, 100%, but it's just protecting yourself. Yeah, that's no, if it's bearish, yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. It's what I always say. Like, you guys probably hear me talk about a lot. I'm like, if it doesn't flush here, I'm not interested in being in the trade. Like I'll put it break even and just go like, cool, like whatever happens, happens. Like, it's not the end of the world. We're gonna break even. But I'm not gonna sit there and micromanage every single move. I'm just gonna let it play out as it wants to. But if this goes break even, I'm probably done. I'm just gonna call it there. It's like 2.5 hours of sitting around. Like, this is a basic setup you could take, but this is how you trade the strategy. This is more and more, hammering into you guys about the strategy. Not quite. Not yet. So we're not out till we're out. Nice. It's like one tick away. Sheesh. We locked it. Doing this. I'm just gonna manage this until we go until yeah, but after this one. Nice. Well, that's bearish. This should just dump off. I mean, like we were predicted. So good. Now all I want to do is just find structure. It's pretty good. Good trade so far. So you could do, I do this all the time. You go, well, if this fails here, realistically, right? If we this bullish, we can go, okay, cool. Bearish, sorry. We can go scale in here. We can lock in like, I don't know, like a little bit, like break even. Because if this fails here, this isn't gonna go up to here. So in your brain, you should be like, well, I want to expose myself further to this winner while we're in it, right? Because if this fails, like, let's be real, like if this just comes down here and then comes back up, like this is gonna, if this fails here, this is very realistically just gonna come all the way up to here. So like this, the risk to reward of going in further deeper into this position is quite high. Doesn't mean you have to do that. It's just something to think about when you guys are trading the strategy. Because your risk to reward will go through the fucking roof if this dumps off, obviously. And if it goes up through here, it's probably going to go all the way up through to here anyway. So the risk to reward here is actually very high. You should get a lot more upside in your trades. You've got momentum showing you it wants to push down. And if you just get stopped out, then it's just a break even, right? But if this pulls, this pushes, fuck. Big trade. Like really big trade. Because you guys understand the reasoning behind this? Because if this fails here and the bullish trend takes over, this is going to come up to here anyway. So you realistically actually want to expose yourself further as the market's pushing down. Because if you're wrong on this trade and you're going to go to break even here, you're probably going to go to break even here. It's going to go to break even here. So it's better to get into more contracts in that kind of position to kind of expose yourself further if the market just wants to keep pushing down. Yeah. Because if this fails, you were cooked. You're like, it's going to go. There's nothing wrong. There's not a bad thing, but you also like not. It's linear, right? Like you don't have fixed risk. Like you don't lose anything by scaling in. You're pretty much all upside essentially. Except for like this little bit of price action here potentially, but realistically, let's be real. If this market does push up to here, the chances of it coming all the way up to here are extremely high. Whereas if this dumps through, chances of it fucking tearing down very high. See, like this, man, this is textbook, guys. It's just, you trail out here, you could lock in 2R here. Now, if you really wanted to, you could be like, okay, cool. Like with the scalings, this is probably like 1.2, 1.3R. You're probably up like 4 or 5R right now. In the trend's pushing down. And you can just kind of go, well, I'm going to wait for structure, take it easy, chill. Not going to do anything, not going to overmanage, just let the market continue to push down, let the overall trend play out. If the market does come up to here, I can just lock in 1R here potentially, even with scalings. But if we get more order blocks, we get more stuff, more momentum to the downside, just keep watching, keep trailing, and just let the market do what it wants to do. Worst case in this position from here was we lose 1R, we went to break even here, didn't get tapped out at break even, showed momentum, continued to push down, scaled into here, and then we can go to break even at 1R here and lock in a winner. Or if the momentum, again, like I was saying, if the momentum wants to fail through here, realistically, like the trend may just continue going down. Continue going up, sorry. So You can do a whole lot. It's just that for finding what works for you and the management style that you like to do in these trades. You know, like look, see the momentum that you're trading with the momentum. You're allowing to get into these positions, be wrong small, and then if you're right, boom, we get in big, and we can start to like really develop these positions into bigger positions. This is like what, like on stream everything. This wasn't hindsight. 2 minute, you know, like this was all managed. This is how I manage my trades. This is how you should manage your trades. This is pretty textbook. Obviously, I didn't trade it with like capital or anything on the line, but I mean, it's still the same shit. This is exactly how I trade. And like, you go, okay, cool. Well, you know, we've got this new order block. Now we can go, great. Like, we're going to actually trail through here and go, well, if this fails, like, that's like probably 2R now. And if this just keeps dumping off, this is probably like, as this pushes down, as we've got more and more contracts in, this is probably like 6R right now. You know, you can just start to go really aggressive with it. You know, you can go and look at, you know, you can do whatever, you know, you can trail it however you like, but like I always use these protected highs because you can see these protected highs hold. It's what I said to you, right? If this fails here, this is going to go up to here. So the chance, you want to expose yourself further here, because if this does continue in the momentum and this overall trend here continues pushing down, then you get far more exposure through here, and you get far more withdrawal. This is probably unironically like 6R right now, from a very small amount of risk. You don't have to risk a lot here. Wait for the trend to actually develop and then scale in when you can see it and put yourself into like a sort of game theory state where you're like, well, if this fails here, it's probably going to come all the way up to here. Well, I'll just put myself in the position where if it doesn't fail, I make way far more money on a trend that's already running. Does it make sense to you guys? So this is pretty live, like a live version of like what I've pretty much taught all of you guys. You know. But you know, like people don't have the patience to sit there for 2 hours and then execute. You know, it's a little bit loose the entry was, but you know, we talked about it and it's like you could have taken it. So you know, we're in here. You know, we could say, well, this is stop loss here is about 2R. How much is it exactly? 1.4 plus. Yeah, it's about 2R. If you get trailed out here, we just let it run, right? Because you got still getting momentum to the downside, still getting these big engulfing candles, well, not big, but like decent sized engulfing candles to the downside, still showing the markets wanting to push down, still showing the markets got momentum to the downside, but also aligned us very heavily with the downward trend, like the current trend. So like, there's no reason to be like, oh, what's gonna happen? I'm freaking out. You know, just chill, just chill. Because you could go, okay, cool, well, I don't want to actually give this much profit back. Cool, I'm going in here, 1.6R on this, and 1.5 on that. So that's like around 2.5, 3R. So you go, I have a 3R win. Yeah, you could do that if you wanted to. Don't necessarily have to. You just go, I want to give it more room because the overall trend's really bearish, so I'm not going to do that. I know Anil in here, she would 100% trail right there. I know she would have got trailed out there because I know how she trails. Are you still in here, Anil? Yeah. But this is, are you guys seeing this like in real time, like the trailing stuff and how like especially here, this was very textbook, very like what I talked to you guys about, where it's like you need to be making decisions that have very high upside but very low downside. Yeah, no, it's okay, but it's just about learning, like the understanding, like the concept of like that, of like going on, like especially with the scale, like the high upside scaling in, where like, because realistically, like, you guys understand what I'm saying, right? When I said this to you here, whereas like if this fails through here, this liquidity, all this like fails, or this level here fails, and then pushes up, like if we see momentum shift to the downside, like here through here, like we saw, and the momentum's still pushing down, like if this fails, this protected high, like this is coming all the way through here, 100%. There's like a very low chance of it not, because the overall trend of this trend will take over. So we want to go, well, okay, we don't have to, we can just go, well, this is going to go break even here. I'd rather just go break even here and give myself way more exposure to the downside right now. Like that's how I view it. And that will give you far better chances of making like good money on these trades, are actually like winning. You know, you can see, right? Like, I mean, you can see these 30-second, these OBs, like they hold, you know. In the worst case, what? Like, let's say you get traded out through here or traded out through here. Well, this is a 3-hour winner or a 2-hour winner. That's still great. Like that's still what, like I always say, that's still what most people are shooting for. That's still what, like, a normal trade for what most strategies look at. So if we know that, like, okay, great. Like, it's fine. Like, all the upside is, like, it fucking tears down all the way down to here after our scaling, and we make, like, fucking 20, like, 15 hour, you know? So the upside's really high, with the downside's pretty, like, normal. It's just normal. Downside, after you've scaled in, that's moved in your direction. Like, it's pretty normal. Like, you've got a normal strategy basically playing out, and then if the market really wants to pay you on the day, then you get paid. Good trade though, guys. That was good. So I'm happy I stuck around to wait for this. Just to even manage it in front of you and show you how I would do it. I think that gives you guys a lot more. I'm not sure if you guys agree, but does that give you guys more clarity, kind of like in person, me explaining a trade in real time, like how I manage it? Does that make sense to you guys more? Yeah. Look, just not trailed. Yeah. Because this is a 30-second, 15-second OB, right? So if this does fail, we'll watch what happens if it fails. This fails here. See what happens if it pushes up. So I'll wait around for a little bit because I want to see what happens. Let's say that we just take 2R. Okay. Rest in peace, we're out at 2R. Very sad. Okay, cool. We made 2R. But you can see, we'll see what happens. And there'll be times, right, like where you'll get stopped out of break even or stopped out of trailed out, and then it'll just fucking tear in your direction. It's gonna happen. Yeah, this is what it is. You can see, right? Like, momentum. Like, once these fail, momentum starts to shift. So we want to maximize the amount of money we can make while the momentum's in our direction, and then when it shifts and these order blocks fail, we want to try and, because like right now, if we hadn't taken profit there, we would have given back basically all of that profit for like no reason, for like literal no reason, because that overall trend here will take over. This what's happening here will take over, right? And we can never know what's going to happen. All we can do is go, well, if this fails, the chances of it going all the way, continuing upside, very high. So, okay, well, if we know that, we don't want to be in the position if it fails. We just want to take what we can get, which is like 2 hour out of the trade. Well, the 2 hour day is fucking great, guys. Like, no one's fucking crying about that one. I'm not. When I made 1.6 hour, I'm like, hell yeah, brother. You know, this is why. Because these if you're trying to catch, you know, it's very unlikely that the market's going to come all the way up through here and then, you know, not keep with the overall trend to think. But obviously it's going to happen. It's just about putting yourself in the best position, right? Like on a day-to-day trade, right? Like, it's not always going to happen. There's going to be times where you enter here and it just fucking rips. And you just get like fucking 8R or something insane. Like, there's gonna be times where that happens, but that's not gonna always happen. That's why I always say it's like making the best decision on a trade basis and just executing and not worrying about what happens. If you make 2R, like if that had come up, swept in through here, taken this out, and then just moved down, okay, you're still up 2R. You've still made money on the day. You've still made money. Like the system is still playing out. You're still allowing the system to breathe and to play out. You're not trying to shoot for Colton 54R in a day. You're trying to shoot for consistency. whether that's losses, wins, whatever that looks like. So that is the strategy. But you can see, right? Like it's kind of in real time happening, right? Where I see like, if this fails here, realistically, the market's just going to move up, right? Because this is also, I think, pretty sure bouncing from, I had it marked up the 5-minute OB, yeah. And it's days like these where it's a little bit more difficult to trade. Like you could have just like, and also that's the thing, right? Like you could be like, okay, cool. Like I've talked to Anil about this, where I'm like, well, you could just go, I'm entering here and I'm trading into this order block, and the moment I see any momentum to the upside, I'm just selling. Like I'm literally just getting out of the position. Like if you don't believe that this overall trend is going to continue, then just get the fuck out of the trade. Like just get out. Like what? If you had scaled in through here and then sold in through here, you would have made like 5R. There's nothing wrong. You don't have to shoot for 300 million hour trades. You just have to shoot for trading from order block to order block. Yeah, sometimes you'll maybe not, maybe sometimes you'll give back too much profit. But you could have gone, well, okay, well the moment it hits in here, like as I said, I'm just gonna start trailing really aggressive. Like I'm just gonna go, well if this fails, I don't want to be in this trade. Well, I'm gonna